Okay, so we're back for episode 4. We have Mark and we have Jess Ross. We've done a lot of work with these guys over probably the past 12, 18 months. We built the members area, the lab. We've had a great insight into, I guess, the community that you've built, because that ties in a lot with the online platform that we built. And yeah, I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that these guys do as a coaching company, not coaches, not individual coaches, as a coaching company, because I think it's a little bit different, and that's the level that you guys are at. And I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, like I said, of things that you do on the daily consistently that a lot of coaches don't do. So that's what I really want to dig into today. So we're just going to do a quick fire. This is obviously completely unscripted, as it always is. So you can both answer at the same time, but obviously no fighting. So it sounds like a couple on, so we don't want any domestics. Online coach or online PT?
Online coach.
Yeah.
Video or graphics?
Video.
High rocks or CrossFit?
High rocks.
Lifestyle lean or?
Lifestyle lean.
Lifestyle lean till the end. Lifestyle lean till the end.
Right, we'll go into then. Jess, I want to start with you in particular. Give us a bit of a background of sort of like your journey over, let's say, like, how old are you? 33. Last 10 years.
Last 10 years. Okay. So my entry into working with Mark and Lifestyle Lean is completely different to what most people would think. I started out in a marketing job, graduated from university, got a first class degree, was very hardworking, went straight into that role, into an office job, but quickly realized that I really did not enjoy it and did not like it. I was doing very much a 9-to-5 job, and I was working my way up the career ladder, and I did get to a good level in the job, but it really was just not making me happy in any kind of way. I was miserable in work. I also had quite a bad experience with a boss bullying me, and really was in a low place. It was a dark time of my life, to be honest, and it took a lot of courage for me to try and move away from that and leave that job, because it was very much a secure place where, like a lot of people, when they want to kind of make a change, it's that fear of the unknown, and it's that fear of like moving away and thinking, what if this doesn't work out? What if I have no money? Like, what if I just, not able to get by? And then I just realized that, you can't just continue life like this. You need to make a change. Your life is gonna either be that you stay in this job and you just feel really, really miserable and kick yourself for never making the change, or you go for it and just give it your best, and you can always return back to that job, if things go to part. So I decided to put the balls in motion, really, and I started to kind of get my first few clients, and I had like Fridays off work, and I was just focusing on coaching clients on Fridays, and Fridays quickly became like the best day of the week. Like, I was absolutely buzzing on a Friday, and I just felt so happy on that day compared to how I was feeling like in the job. And it just really put things in perspective for me that just even that one day was the best day of my week. So I started to coach clients, started to get results, and started to absolutely love, supporting women. And then from there, built my clients up, and then went into coaching full time after that. And that was like completely game changing for my life. And, it's been the best move I've ever made. And it's allowed me now to obviously have the business with Mark and go on to help, thousands and thousands of women transform their bodies and lives. And that's why, for me, even when a woman starts their transformation journey, I know how difficult it sometimes can be to make that move and make that change. But I know that just like it was for me, it will be the best decision that they've made for their entire lives to come. And that move of that jump is a scary move, but it's when your life can just completely change as a result and transform in ways you never imagined.
Similar to Jess, what was your background?
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't, corporate. I have a typical lad from where I'm from, played football all my life. Didn't know what I wanted to do, just loved sports and fitness. I went over to university in America, I got a scholarship over to America. That's where the kind of fitness bug bit me, because it was 3 times a day training. It was 6 a.m., 1 p.m., 6 p.m. every single day. And it was like, you've got to keep up your grades to play in the sports team. And that's what it is in your university. So then it was like, right, okay, I'll take sports and sports ed, etc. And even though I loved it, I came home after 2 or 3 years because I was like, right, well, I love fitness now. I'm educated on it. I can still play football back in England and kind of like make money from doing both of them. Came back, got my qualifications, and then went into the PT manager, just the typical, ladder that people do in gyms. And then it was, okay, well, now you're at the top of the ladder. Where'd you go next? And it was, at that time, it was everyone was getting their own gym. So it was like, right, okay. I had one gym and it was an industrial park and it was all I could afford. And it was freezing cold and whatever. And I had a gym though, but I was excited, but I made no money. Yeah. And then we dropped that one and obviously we went to a better one, and one with 3 floors, and it was a town centre, and it was amazing. And it probably was, a good place to be. But then I lived in Manchester, and Manchester was always kind of calling me, whatever it was at that time. And ultimately, it was a really good time that Barry's spoke to me, and I didn't know how big a fitness brand Barry's was at the time. But it's a worldwide brand, and it's huge. And they headhunt you, and I didn't realize this. So at the time I was kind of like, doing PT, running the gym and teaching the classes in the gym. So doing kind of everything. And they headhunt you and they look at your socials and you look at the background and blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, right, they want you. We're going to, they're coming to Manchester. They want to set up in Manchester. And it was like, right, you've got to drop everything and come to London and do a 2-week intensive X Factor style course. And it was like nuts. It was like nothing. I said to Jess, I don't know what this is. Yeah. Got to go down there. And she was like, go do it. And I was like, cool. And honestly, it was like SAS training. It was on it. Barry's is hard enough.
What was the aim of that? Just to sort of like
to make you the best
standard.
To make you their standard, yeah, because they are known as the best fit. It's known as the best workout in the world. Yeah. So you've got to be the best coach in the world, and you've got to do everything. And it's not a normal fitness class. It's got to be a DJ with an entertainer with a coach teaching 50 people at once.
I've seen a couple of videos that you posted. It's like definitely another level.
Yeah, it's not, and I've probably done it for this long now because how good it is and because how much I actually love the training. And it was kind of like boot camp X Factor style, people getting booted off every 2 days because they couldn't hack it. And we all lived in this house together in London, and it was nuts. And then people were breaking down, and they were happy that you were breaking down, but only because that meant that you meant something to them. Oh, it was nuts. Yeah. And anyway, all got through, happy ending. We made it. We opened Barry's Manchester, and at that time, it was great for me because I wanted to get out of Bolton. I wanted to do Barry's, and I wanted to go online. It was kind of all that at one time that forced me into it. And then, long story short, I've been with Barry's 5 years now. I had 3 things. For some reason, I've always had 3 things running. It was the football, it was the Barry's, and it was the online. And they're all growing, and they're all doing great. And I was like, something has to drop here. With football, I was going up and down the country. I was playing in the conference. I was playing in Newquay on a Tuesday night and teaching at Barry's at Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. and doing online check-ins on the coach for 5 hours. And it was so one had to go, and unfortunately, because I'm 35 now, it was football. Love it. It literally had to stop because of that really hard decision. And now I'm still at Barry's. Been there 5 years now, and we've built the company to a company. It's gone from coaching to a company now, which we're very proud and excited for.
So I don't really know a lot about Barry's. I know a lot about the brand and the front end stuff, but not too much behind it. But there's obviously a lot to be said about the passion and the effort and the investment they put in the front end when they're taking, like the story you shared about, sort of the onboarding of that and that whole experience. Because let's be honest, you don't need to do it. Like, you as a coach, you don't need to do it. You guys have built a business that sort of gives you the ability to not have to do in person, but you obviously still do it.
I think, 100%. And it's, I'm not even there for money. Like, I literally not. I love the brand. I love being part of something that's worldwide. Like, we've gone to LA and jumped in studios, and I know the owners of the studios and the trainers, and we're connected with so many people, and the amount of connections I've made in there because Barry's is a high end place. Like, I've coached like A-list celebrities in there. Like, it's nuts. They come in every single morning. in the 7 locations around the UK. But I've always been a coach. I've just always been teaching classes since I was probably about 14, 15. Enjoy doing it, enjoy the face-to-face stuff, enjoy being an actual coach. Whereas I see so many online coaches who they're not even qualified, never mind a coach. You know, they're literally just, they want to put a diet plan and make money. And it's sickening sometimes. And because again, even though we're a company now, people still think of bad reps of online coaches because of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I love teaching. Who knows how long I'll do it for? But it's the small things that they do well, which I love doing, and that's probably why I've stayed with them so long. It's the little thing. It's the high end here. It's the 5-star treatment there. It's the I think that's a big part of. And you might have seen, you might not have seen, but we did a collaboration with Barry's last week, which for us is a huge thing. And I think I can see both brands together, even just for this short collaboration, but because of they both have same values and same standards, and that's why I think it worked really well when it happened.
Do you think there's a lot of stuff that you carried over from Barry's and corporate into Lifestyle Lean now?
Spreadsheets.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you take from your background that you may not think you would use. And like for me, it's been like the tech, it's been the marketing side of things. Like I obviously have used those skills massively when it comes to the brand and building our brand.
I remember I've had like so many things that I wanted to do. Like I met Jess 10 years ago now, and probably for the first 5 years, I was just like, I've got this idea and that idea and this idea and that idea, and nothing kind of came about it. Yeah. And then as soon as Jess got involved, it was, now we've got numbers.
I think we obviously noticed that when we was building your members area and gone through, managing that weekly now. Yeah. It's communications with you, Jess, isn't it? And you're the one asking the questions, and you're the one and obviously the ideas are coming from both of you, but in terms of the execution, which honestly makes it a dream for us.
So I think for us as a partnership together, like we both use each other's skills. So for me, it's like the marketing, it's the tech background, it's like the communication side of things. Whereas for you, it's more like the programming, it's the support for clients, it's the motivation, it's the guided runs. It's like, so we do use different parts of each other's skill set. And I think that's why, what we have is different.
So not focusing on the Barry's thing in particular, but obviously it clearly means a lot to you. So you obviously get a lot of fulfillment from it. And I think there's a lot of it in the industry where a lot of fulfillment's missing. So I think when you get online coaches now that, are doing really well and they haven't necessarily done the whole cleaning the treadmills and all the 3 hours for a commercial gym and all that type of stuff. I'm not saying you need to do that, but when you haven't done that and you haven't necessarily got that background of doing, I guess, the more challenging and the less lucrative side of the industry, of being a coach or a personal trainer, you're on a completely different journey, and obviously you still get that fulfillment from the in-person stuff. So if you didn't do the in-person, which you get a lot of fulfillment from, what do you think you'd be missing? Do you think there'd be something in particular that you would miss that would leave a big hole in sort of the day-to-day, I guess, coaching lifestyle, the lifestyle that you live?
I don't know if I'd drive myself crazy or not. Like, I don't do a lot there whatsoever. I've brought the hours down and I have, but I think it's just something that I've always been passionate about, and I love helping and being that actual coach. And just on a little tangent then, I know you said about the actual coaching thing, but like even clients wise, like for all these guys who trying to do vague, vast like marketing and trying to find clients everywhere, and these guys, like you can be a coach in a gym and have all the, hundreds of people to speak to. Yeah, of course. Like, not that I would have ever forced anyone to go on the program, but like at least every morning I've got 100 people who know that I'm there for help, and we help a lot of clients. Everyone who walks forward in that gym is there to look good. No one's doing anything else. Whereas if you're speaking to followers and stuff, they might just like the way that you look, or you're talking to the wrong people, So I would say that people that I've seen, I have some people asking me, Mark, how do I get into online coaching? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm just like, it's a different game to PT. Like you can do both kind of thing, but don't just think this is the ultimate. Like, you can still do both and do it in a really good way, and you don't have to leave everything just to be online kind of thing. Like there's so many different ways of doing it. Like there's no right or wrong. You can run a gym like I started doing online when I had that gym. And that you can make it your own kind of thing.
What do you get fulfillment out of?
I think for me, it is a massive part of what I enjoy is my training and having
Yeah.
that progression. So like I always like to have that next goalpost. So whether it is like a fitness event that I'm working towards, or just wanting to improve my technique in a certain
Yeah.
training exercise, like there's always going to be something that I am focused on, and it usually will be like a fitness event, or an next sort of an event that I'm working to. So yeah, I think for me, usually will be that. At the moment, obviously, we're working with our own performance coach within Lifestyle Lean. And that has been like a big thing that I look forward to, because every week is like a different style of training. I'm always like working towards that next kind of race. So that's kind of really like where I get my performance.
Yeah.
I think as
day-to-day.
well, that one, like now we have built this team as well with the company. I think big thing for us is we feel accomplished when it's like the next step up, where it's whether we've got 2 new coaches, or we've got a different part of the team, but yet things are still working. So it's like, wow, we're building this, and people are still getting these results, and we're still making everyone happy. And that's for me where I think the fulfillment is, where it's like we're building, but everything's still growing and everyone's still doing really well, and then we're living our life. I think for us it is the lifestyle. We wouldn't have fulfillment if it was just the business is going great, but we're not great. It's we like it when it's like everything's going all right at the moment. I think that's the big thing for us.
Contentment.
Like a big thing in terms of like fulfillment personally is that we will always have like goals that we're looking at each month and each quarter. So we'll map that out based on personal, based on business, based on lifestyle. And then we're always working to those different things that we've mapped out. And that's what gives us that fulfillment, is that we can see that we're making progressions across the board.
So how have you found actually working together? So I was laughing this morning on the way in, because me and Lucy speak about this quite a lot, and Lucy's got a really good job, and even though if I wanted, I probably couldn't afford her anyway. But we always laugh about working together, and I always say that my ego's way too big to even chance being in this office and be shouted at by Lucy or whatever it may be. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it, because there's a lot of it in the industry. There's a lot of like partners that work together. I'm not sure if I'd be able to do that. But what are your thoughts? Sort of, what are the downsides, upsides? How have you worked? Have you figured out working together?
Yeah, I think if you are working as a couple together and you've got business together, I think the big thing that you need to have is that shared vision, that shared goal that you're working towards. And I think if you don't have that in place, that's where things can go wrong. Obviously, there is naturally, as a couple, being together all the time and working together all the time, of course it has its challenges, like it would in any relationship. But the fact that we're both so aligned on what we want to achieve with the business is what keeps it strong.
It's exactly that. We know where again, but not that we just know, we've wrote it down. We've got a plan. We know exactly the vision, what it should feel like, what it should look like, how we're going to live our lives, how much time we're going to have. Like, it's such a strong vision, and we've been working hard on this recently, and we go back to it every quarter. Are we getting closer to it? Are we doing this? So it's kind of like all the little arguments or little things, it's all in a good place, because it's like we're both pushing all the time.
And a lot of passion for like ideas and stuff like that.
Absolutely, And then when you're saying about working together, it really does work, because we'll both hold each other accountable. And again, going back to when I was just on my own doing it, I'd write things down and it'd be a year gone. I'd be like, it's still there, it's still there. And this is like, no, I'm accountable to Jess, Jess accountable to me.
Yeah.
We both know what we want. And sometimes it might change, and we'll change a few things, but the big vision is always the same, and we both know what we're working
I think
towards.
what's been good about our business as well is that we've both built it from the start. So I know that it can be difficult, say if you had a business, then your wife was
Someone
to come
came
in,
into it,
that would make it harder. But because we've built this from the ground up, we've been there, right from the start, and we've helped it grow as one. So that's kind of helped us together as a couple.
So did you sit down and say, okay, like this is what I'm good at, this is what you're good at, and then set out your roles from there? Or did you just naturally move into the sort of the roles that you've got now?
We've ran it differently up to now, right? So we very, very much ran it as I was coaching all the guys, Jess was coaching all the girls, because we didn't see it as
we had it as a split kind of female and male. So in a way, we were doing the same jobs, but doing it for the split of female and male.
Exactly the same thing, like one room, let's say in the apartment, one room, and it was two
female room, male room.
Exactly the same going on, exactly the same results, exactly the same coaching, exactly the same whatever. So we both did that, and now it's like, okay, now we're hiring people to do certain roles, and we're actually being the managers of the role. So now it's a new dynamic, isn't it? Now it's interesting because now it's like, okay, what do you want to go and look after?
So I think, like you just mentioned though, when you realise that you've got that responsibility and you really need to communicate to make the decisions, like for example, what you just mentioned, our version of that is me and Liam moving into that office over there. And, for a while when we moved into this office, we were sort of all sat as one team in the middle, which is work, and it's really good for productivity. It's really good for sort of like the team and, being there with everyone. But ultimately, when you need to communicate and you need to efficiently communicate and make decisions, then that sort of coming together as the two parties knowing your roles and, the part you play in that decision really needs to be focused on. And like you just mentioned there, you had essentially two companies in one company. And I think when you realise that you're responsible for other people's salaries, other people's mortgages, other people's livelihoods, families and things like that, I think that's when it really hits home of how much focus you have to place on your communication.
Yeah. It's that, and it's just being completely open and understanding. So every role.
It's really communicating as a couple, like where you're needing the support from the other partner to maybe jump into something that might not be the current role now, or may not be something that they've done before, but it's just having that open, honest chats.
How have you found building a team? Because I think it's something that a lot of coaching businesses struggle with. Talk us through your journey, sort of what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you.
So I think when it comes to building the team, the first thing you need to do is that you need to actually be able to do those roles yourself very good. So you need to be amazing at coaching yourself. You need to be amazing at getting results yourself before you can then have anyone else, doing that for you, because you need to know how it should be done. You need to know exactly how that client should be going from A to B, whether that is, to be in shape, or whether that is, for performance goal. Like, you need to know how to get that client there. So firstly for us, that's been a key thing, is actually having that. And then it's choosing those people within your company, or if you want to find somebody that's outside that actually has your values and is as passionate as you are about getting those results. That's a big thing.
And with the team, it's we, like you just said, then we've built up, and we've probably took our time doing it, to be honest. You probably could have just paid someone to come in and do that. But hopefully people see how authentic that we are with everything that we want, everything to be spot on, and we want to know as much about our clients as possible and what journeys they're going through and how it should feel from being a coach and being doing this transformation.
For us, like, we want our coaches to have lived and breathed the transformation. So that's why for us, we've chosen coaches within our community, because they've been there firsthand. And
they know how it feels. They know like everything about the program. They know it inside out, and they know how good the end result feels. So they're trying to get the end result for these clients.
So if there are coaches that are unsure, so you've essentially got a couple of different routes to building a team. You've got something like what you do, where you basically graduate people from clients with the vision into a coach. You then maybe got taking a coach, somebody that you don't really know, somebody that's already got the skill set to be a coach. And then you've obviously got family and friends and that side of things as well. So is there anything in the way that you do it that you would say completely trumps the other options? That obviously there is something, because that's the reason why you do it. But what would you nail down to be the reason why you do that?
I think the way that we do it is that the coach or the hire lives and breathes your brand, and they know it fully because they've actually lived it themselves. They've gone through that transformation. They've had those weeks and difficult patches that they're going to coach clients on. So that's the benefit. Obviously, taking somebody from who's not been within the brand, they've not actually seen the full journey. Obviously, they may have that experience, but they've not actually come through your brand.
So essentially what you're doing is you're prioritizing the buy-in from the client initially, to buy into the brand, to buy into everything that Lifestyle Lean is, the morals, the vision and everything. And then you're choosing to upskill them from a coaching perspective afterwards, rather than the other way around.
Absolutely, yeah. And not only that, but because they've been with us from the start, I'm sure you are with your team, but we're completely open about where we want the company to go and how they can grow with the company. So, if I was just getting someone off the street, I don't think I would have them bought in so much. I wouldn't even maybe want them part of everything just because I don't know the background, whereas I know everything about these guys and girls. And I would love it if we could all grow together. They're happy, they're working just as much as they want, they get the right amount of pay, we're growing, we're getting results, we're scaling. And we're all just kind of like, everyone loves what we do.
Yeah. So how many team members are you on now, other than including yourselves?
Six coaches. We've got one on communication or sales. And then we've got
obviously got like support with graphics. We've got support with ads. So extensions of the team outside of.
But the coach is 6.
Would you say it's scalable to bring coaches in that way?
No, I mean, I think it depends on, when you were saying about what was the positives and negatives, I think it really does depend on what kind of coaching program you have, because right now we've got people who now they see what's happening, they want to be a coach now. So they're like, oh, when's your next intake of, and these are clients, by the way, when's your next intake of coaches? And we make sure that they go through the whole transformation, first of all, so we can't say blah, blah. But yeah, I just think for
right now, I think it can continue. But again, we have to review it as we go, really.
So this is the bit that I'm actually really excited about, because I think for me, it's the standout pillar of the Lifestyle Lean brand, which is community. I think all you have to do really is to look on the website, look on socials, and you see all the community interaction, all the results that you get, all the photo shoots, the events, the in-person meetups, all that stuff. And it just gives you a vibe. It gives you a certain feeling that makes you connect. And I think it's clear to me. I mean, even if we look at the website, at least the last probably 10 websites that we've done, your site is a reference on it. So there's obviously something to do with community, some emotional connection that makes coaches and your audience see through that and see what the actual brand is built of, and culture comes with that as well. So how do you foster that community? How do you pull everyone together? How do you, initially drive that engagement, and how then do you maintain it moving forward from there?
The community side of things for us is absolutely massive, and it's something that we've put a lot of time into, because we want everyone to really feel connected with each other as much as possible. And obviously we have a global community. We've got, clients from across the world. But how everyone is connected is firstly through that community group. And what we want all the men and women sharing about is their journey through the hard times and also the wins that they get. And that's really what, connects everyone as a whole. But what we have is that we have through the year, like different events, like meetups, pipelines, and this is what really connects everybody together. So a big part of obviously what we do within a transformation journey is get men and women in shape, obviously help them feel lean in their bodies, build confidence levels. And when they've actually come through, that first kind of diet part of their journey and they're into maintenance, they can then be looking at different events throughout the year that we take part in as a team, as a community. So for this weekend, as example, we're going to Lisbon to do a half marathon out there. And we've got
with clients.
With clients, we've got our community coming across to Lisbon to do that. And then later on in the year, we've got different events coming up. We're doing the 3 Peak National Challenge. We're doing High Roxes.
Yeah, we've got loads. This is probably the biggest one we've done, but it's just
and obviously it's not just fitness events that we do as a community. There will be different meetups as well. It might be going to a Barry's, it might be doing a hike, but actually having that time with each other in person is a brilliant experience. And when we have our community meet up and they're connected with each other and they're hearing each other's journeys and what they've been through and the challenges and where they are now, and it might be that client is 3 years on into their transformation. There's nothing that connects everyone together as much as actually seeing each other and hearing each other's journeys.
Just for context then, what would you say is your average sort of lifetime on a client?
Varies. It could be between sort of a year to sort of 2 years, couldn't it, really?
I'd say 1 to 2 years, and we've just worked on extending that as well, through performance basically, because we've got two sides to it, where it's the transformation side, and then it's kind of, we call it physique to podium. So it's from they've done the photo shoot, they look incredible, but they need new goals now, and that's where that comes into it. But just going into the community side of it, like maybe it's because of my sporting background or whatever, but I just know how crucial it is to be around people, how fun it can be, and it's what normally happens is most of the guys who don't think they need it are the ones who are like, after like forcing themselves into it, they love it and they need it, and they're like, they're the ones first to the event. They're the ones first on the list for anything. And I want people don't realize how many other people are in the same boat as them. So that's what we're trying to force together, that like there's nothing to hide. Like it's the most positive place you can be in our community. Everyone's going through struggles, and we make it open. Everyone's not perfect.
It's
Everyone's
not about
struggling.
just like sharing your wins and the positives. It's like everybody will share the difficult and the dark
downsides.
times.
Yeah.
Because that actually is what helps pick everyone else up, is when you see someone else's struggle and then a week later they're back and they're feeling great again. And it's often that the communities that help pick them up through that difficult
At
time.
the same time, like our main goal at Last Talent is always results. It's always results.
Yeah.
And I know, I saw everything is built around results. The programming, the structure, the nutrition, the guest experts. We had a live guest expert training last night, like that before, about military mindset, and everything's built around results. So I know that without community, the results won't be as good.
So I want to dig into the online community a little bit as well, because we talked about in-person meetups, and I think even though it's not easy, it can be difficult and it can be expensive and things like that. The lowest hanging fruit when it comes to building community is obviously being able to meet up with them. You can use interpersonal skills. You can rely on the life skills that you've built over time, and you can actually interact with people. So that is kind of the easier side of it. But what you've done and what you've mastered, which is the harder part of it, is the online community as well. Obviously, there's crossover because it's the same people. So if you're engaging in person, it's easier to engage them online. But at the same time, there's a lot of grey area over what tools you might use to actually create the chat, to create the community. Is it Facebook? Is it WhatsApp? Whatever it may be. And I think you guys have nailed that. So what would you, starting with tools and things, how have you built your online community and how would you manage it moving forward?
But we keep it super simple. There's nothing like crazy that we do. We have an online training app. We have my PT Hub. Always used it. And then we have a Facebook group, and we force people, even on the onboarding, on our members area, through you guys. Everything is built around, like, from the start, the get go. It's you're in the community. You're posting every single day. You're doing your results. You're being accountable. You're doing this. We have, like, it's literally rules that you do to get you want a transformation, you do this. If you want a 70% transformation, you don't do. We tell them how it is. If you want the best, this is what the best do from the start. So that's what we do. So we're in the Facebook group. That's where we post our events. Like Jess was saying, we do pipelines, which is like, guys, first of the month, this is what is coming out, and you need to be there, because again, if you want results, you be there. If you don't want results, no problems. Don't turn up.
It's just that, like, being a part of that online connected community, when you're actually seeing other people's results and you're immersed within it, you will naturally progress more within yourself, because again, like, environment does dictate your success. Like, when you're seeing this every single day, you're seeing other people's results, you're seeing other people's struggles. That's going to affect you and how you then perform. So what we want is that everyone in our community is as active and engaged in the community as much as they can be. So for those that are around the world, we will do like various online kind of meetups too. So it might be that we do an online training. It might be that we do a virtual run. Like, there's many ways in which we connect the global community too.
I think the thing that stands out for me is obviously we manage your members area, and we built hundreds of members areas over time, including obviously the one we built for you. And there's obviously like a model that we recommend. So you have your pipeline each month, you have your calendar with all the Zoom links in, so you don't have to rely on email and all those different sort of quirks that we always recommend. And what it always falls back to is consistency, even though it's so boring, probably the most boring part of the job really, but it's the most important, the most overlooked. So what generally happens with us is we build a members area and we recommend all these sort of touch points that you need to stay consistent with each month to keep the audience engaged, keep your clients engaged, keep the community engaged. But 2 months in, the coaches stop doing it. So you have your pipeline each month, you update your events, you let them know what they can expect that month. But throughout the whole time that we manage your members area, every single month we have a recurring task that we manage every single month that you're on straight away. So this is the video for this month. You both sit there together. This is the video for this month. These are the events. This is the stuff that we're doing in the community. And I think it's that consistency that really gives you the foundation.
This is what we were talking about. We were literally having this conversation on the way here, actually. Like, a big thing that the only way to succeed in life, and a big thing that I've learned and the big thing that you've learned, is that it really is delivering the basics consistently and making sure that you continually show up on that. And
Yeah.
that's why for us, it's just hard habits done. It's built within us. So when it comes to doing these things like the pipelines,
Yeah.
the events coming up, this is a big thing that we're discussing for months before
Yeah.
because it needs to be done.
Well, you both
It's
literally
not
sit
a,
next to each other on a video, don't you? Recording
Yeah.
video every month. And
Yeah.
go, right, this is what's going
this
on.
is
Yeah.
And the
it
energy
has
as
to
well,
be
by
done.
the way.
Yeah.
The energy is like mad.
Yeah.
I reckon on a Monday morning, you could watch that video and go, oh, I'm not doing a
Yeah.
program this Saturday.
Go on, yeah. And that's it.
It's
We
important to
we
us,
get excited.
yeah.
So we like listen. I'm booking things that I want to do. I got this author speaking on Monday night. This Marine Commando who talks literally about how to be the ultimate version of yourself. How he speaks to the best athletes in the world, and it's the boring basics. And I think that's all I've done to get in shape. That's all Jess done to get in shape. It's all I've done to build a business. There's no magic out there, and we want people to just I think we know if we do the consistency, if we put the work in like day in, day out, then they'll get the results as well. And it all
Yeah.
kind of shines through from
It's
us,
just been so many parts of life where it's just replayed to me over and over again that like being consistent, doing those things that even if you think, oh, I don't want to do this today, or you know, I'll leave it. It's actually a case of no, get it done, follow those basics, because even if now it's feeling uncomfortable doing it,
Yeah.
you know that long term it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
And it's time and time again showing me that best in business as well as in fitness and like performance. It's again across the board just showing me that. So that's why for us it's just we know we hold each other accountable to it because we know that long term it's going to get us the results that we want.
So just to finish, we've kind of done it the wrong way around really, but I want to just dig into your ideal audience because we talked about, I guess, the pillars that work for you. So we talked about consistency, we talked about community. There's so many things that can just be implemented for any coaches listening right now, that there's so many things that they can just plug in straight away, which is great. But I want to just dig into who it's for. So you talked about why you do it, how you do it, but who's that for, to connect the dots. Obviously, as you'll know, figuring out your ideal audience is a huge thing in the industry. Always has been, probably always will be. So just to give an insight, all those things that work for you, who's your ideal audience?
So listen, as an ideal client, obviously you want someone who is committed to a cause, but also knows that if he puts the work in, will. So when we see business owners, it's not just because you know they've got money to spend, etc. It's because they know, again, discipline, basics, be accountable, and obviously have someone that you take orders from, and they understand the implications that will have. And we get a lot better results from people like that who know that having a leader or having a coach works because they're a coach or a leader.
So typically who we want to work with is burnt out business owners who are trying to do everything themselves. They're trying to manage the businesses, they're trying to get in shape, focusing on the wrong things, putting in a lot of time to maybe go into classes and trying to train whilst looking after family, but just feeling that they're burnt out as a result and not actually getting any progress and results. So that's kind of who we will want to work with.
Kind of got everything else in
and they've built the business, but they realize that they're not where they want to be within their bodies.
It's funny because everything you said, it kind of all comes back to it being a program that you've built that you would probably take part in yourself. Hopefully you're not a burnt out business owner yourself, but I'm sure at one point you have been. But it sounds like everything that you do from a community standpoint, all the things that you take part in, it's actually something that you want to do yourself.
People we get on calls, more or less, they want to be like me or Jess, or an element, or there's something about
there's
it.
Something they see
there's
in
something,
you that
and that's why we attract hopefully good clients. And like my community is class. Like when you have meetups, I can't wait to meet some of these guys. Like I'm buzzing for whatever. You know, we're going to Lisbon with 10 of them tomorrow. It's going to be unbelievable. Like. So they'll be sales posted. It's a 360 thing. I'll post about stuff that I'm doing. I'll attract people that like doing stuff that I'm doing. They'll want to do stuff that I'm doing, and it just works well.
Just authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic. 100%. Everything we do, honest to God, is we live the exact lifestyle. There's nothing that we do not show. We'll show when we're having wholesome weekends, when we're having a drink, when we're going out for meals. We'll show that we're pretty disciplined 80% of the time. We love traveling. We love building a business together. We're trying to grow a company to a big level together, but yet doing it by still getting results. Like everything that we do, we literally live the lifestyle.
Yeah, as well as like wanting to push ourselves in our own fitness and our own performance. Like this is all part of this lifestyle that the men and women achieve.
Okay, so just to finish off, we've talked about how everything's amazing. Obviously, sometimes we know that things aren't always amazing, and let's just bring it down a peg and do a quick fire, just one question. If you could pick one thing that you think your brand could be better at, what would it be?
We just try. We try and go above and beyond. Like, so you can always do better at like, again, we always come down to client results, client relationships, and yes, it is good. That's the only element that we'd be like, you know what? You can always do better. You can always try and help clients more. Although we do believe we get the best results. I think a good question might be like, when we grow, what will be the one thing that we want to make sure that works? There's the same as, again, our standard of results, I think is better than anyone's, and I want that to be the same.
That's the key thing, is that we want to protect the standard as we grow. That's crucial for us, and that's why we are very invested in our clients, and we are I know where all the clients are at, like as an example, and I know that I won't be able to do that as we grow.
That's probably why we've done it in a slow way, probably a good way, but a slow way of growing. We've not gone right. We want to go million followers and like put everything into scale, into paid ads and stuff like that. We're literally organic referrals, like
piece by piece.
Piece by piece. Yeah. So that's probably the unknown for us. Not that we were going to do it wrong. It's just the unknown for us, and that we're going to put all our effort into over the next few months.
Incredible. I think we'll finish there. We're probably at an hour, aren't we? Be at an hour. Can we have a round of applause for the...
Cheers, gang. Appreciate it.